Good evening and welcome to Tulsa Ballet's virtual reveal. I'm Scott Black, the managing director of Tulsa Ballet. We are live from our Studio K Theater here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where in just a few moments we are going to unveil the 2021-2022 season. You know, in years past, our reveal event has been a great opportunity for us to gather together here in Studio K to hear directly from Tulsa Ballet's artistic director, Marcello Angelini, about his programming for the next season. And while we are meeting virtually this year, I know that you are just as anxious as I am to be able to do that again in person as soon as we can. We are live right now, but this entire broadcast will be archived on our YouTube page starting tomorrow. So if you're missing it, you can see it then. Also, not only tonight will you hear directly from Marcello, but you're going to hear from all of the world-renowned choreographers who will be coming to Tulsa next year to work with our company. So tonight is your opportunity to subscribe or renew your subscription for next year. And when you do so, we're giving you a free bottle of our limited edition Reveal wine. So subscribe right now before midnight by going online to tulsaballet.org/subscribe, or you can call our box office 918-749-6006. Our operators are standing by until about 7 o'clock tonight. Also, those of you who RSVP'd for tonight's event, you are automatically entered to win a drawing that we're going to be doing at the end of the event. So stay with us. You could win one of our wonderful prizes. You know, it's no secret that this year has been one of the most difficult and challenging years we've ever faced here at Tulsa Ballet, but not just for us, but for ballet companies and performing arts organizations around the world. But the support from our local community has been phenomenal, and we are so appreciative to you and also very proud of all that we've been able to accomplish over the past 12 months. In fact, while most companies and arts organizations and theaters around the world have continued to stay dark, Tulsa Ballet has embraced creativity and innovation to allow us to continue to offer live performances throughout the pandemic, as well as expanding our virtual options. So for next year, we are anxiously awaiting to get back to multiple venues for a full season of programming, and we want you to join us. Again, go online right now, tulsaballet.org/subscribe. Call the box office 918-749-6006. Do it before midnight tonight so you can claim your free bottle of Reveal wine. You can come pick it up during our drive-through wine pickup next Tuesday night here at Tulsa Ballet. You know, I know that you are just as anxious as I am to hear about next season. Marcello is here with us tonight. Marcello, take it away. We can't wait to see what you've got planned for us next year.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to our first virtual reveal program of Tulsa Ballet. Now, I know this program is all about sharing with you the upcoming season, but before I do that, I want to thank you for your support throughout this very difficult season. You know, there is a date I will never forget, that date being March 17th, 2020. On that Monday, we had a full run-through, the first run-through of Vendetta, a Mafia story by Annabelle Lopez-Ochoa, and it was a great run. The company looked fantastic. By the end of that day, I had to call everybody and tell them that we were shutting down due to the current pandemic. But you know, if there is something that you learned about us is that we never give up and we never give in. And so within a few months, by September 5th to be precise, we had brought back all our administrators. And by the end of September, September 28th, our ballet studios were again populated by our wonderful dancers. By the end of October, we had performed our first program in front of a live audience. Now, who cares if the live audience was only 30 of you? Who cares if the choreographers couldn't come in to create their works on site? We asked them to create them from places as far away as London or Rome or Boston or Amsterdam. Who cares if the dancers had to wear masks? They looked fantastic nevertheless. And now, as of today, we have produced 3 wonderful programs I'm very proud of, and there is one, our celebration gala, that will close this season and hopefully open the doors to a better time. And now, before I tell you about next season, a couple of very quick housekeeping announcements. First of all, please stay tuned. Our managing director, Scott Black. Scott, where are you? Hi, Scott. Scott is going to read your comments at the end of this presentation, and if you subscribe tonight, you're going to get a wonderful bottle of wine. So don't miss this opportunity. I picked up the wine myself. Thank you. And now on to the season. Now, in spite of the unusual nature of next season, the planning of it was actually very usual. I picked up my trusted friend, my yellow pad, and I started jotting down the goals and objectives that I wanted to achieve with next season. The first one, obviously, was to bring all of you back to the theater. And for that, I knew I needed a blockbuster season. I hope you will agree with me by the end of this presentation that this is one season worth coming back to the theater for. I also knew that some of you are going to be hesitant about being in a theater, shoulder to shoulder with other people, at this particular time in our history. And so what we are working on is to have at least one safely distanced performance for each one of our programs. So please stay tuned. We will let you know more about this objective. The next objective I wanted to touch on was to shine the spotlight on social and cultural issues that are in the forefront of our conversations today. Obviously, we are going to do that without passing judgment. Again, our objective is to open a conversation among our subscribers. The third objective and the fourth objective come straight from our mission statement, that of preserving the tradition of classical ballet and to promoting the appreciation of contemporary dance through the creation of new works. And actually, the first program of the year, Creations in Studio K, addresses this particular point. Again, while Creations in Studio K is our traditional opening of the season, this year there is something kind of unconventional, kind of new that we are going to bring to this program. We are, of course, going to produce 3 brand new works. The first one is going to be by Yuri Janowski. Yuri Janowski is the artistic director of the Festival Ballet Providence. Yuri Janowski is a former star of the Boston Ballet and is one of my favorite choreographers. His works are so energetic, so musical. He has already created 3 works for us, 2 for the second company, and for those of you who came to see our first program of the year last November, one of the works in that program was by Yuri. Let's hear from him about his upcoming work for Studio K.
The great thing is just, you know, now I know the dancers, so I love their enthusiasm. You know, you know, they're real. They're there. They want to. They're with you. You know, in the process. You know. I'm using like really like old songs, you know, like old tango songs, like very into the roots, you know, of tango, and it's almost like, you know, some of the records are almost has that, it's like a record, so you have that scratch. So I think it would be really beautiful too to have that. So it's almost like it's like an antique song, you know. But yeah, I'm just like excited to be one-on-one and be there, you know. It's been a hard, hard year, and everybody's you know, trying to adjust, you know, and with Zoom and everything. But you know, it's good that we, you know, hopefully we go back to normal, and you know, we have that one-on-one, you know, and I feel like a little bit that we're missing, you know.
The second work in the program is going to be by Katarzyna Kozlieva. Kasia, as we call her, is a product of the Stuttgart Ballet. Kasia spent all her dancing career with this wonderful company, and she choreographed the first piece for the Nouvelle Society, which is the young choreographer society of the Stuttgart Ballet, in 2011. Well, by 2013, she had already created her first major piece for Stuttgart Ballet, and she went on to create another 2 or 3 pieces for the company, and then branching out to making pieces for German and companies from all over Europe. Kasia was supposed to be here this season, creating a piece for us this season. We had to postpone it to next season, but I'm so happy that not only she will come in person to create a piece for us, but also that her American debut will be here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Kasia has never created a work for an American company, and the first one will be next September. Let's hear from Kasia about her upcoming work.
It's gonna be a different piece inspired by a word motion at the moment. What's inspired me is the motion of the word. There's no routine in the word. The word stops, we are on lockdown, and then it speeds up faster than we have ever experienced. And I want to look from outside for this motion of this slowing down motion into speeding up, and this uncertain of where is actually the word going, because we still uncertain how we can get out of the situation. So that's inspiration for me for the upcoming piece for Tulsa. I can't wait to have this human relation in the studio, so I'm super excited for it, and to start creating in the space with people. I think I'm really looking forward for that. So that's definitely I want to invite everybody to have this journey, this excursion, which we are not allowed to have at the moment, to have this excursion with me and with the dancers.
And now we are going to turn Creations Studio K on its head. For the first time in a planned season, Tulsa Ballet 2, the second company of Tulsa Ballet, will be performing shoulder to shoulder in the same program with the main company. Now, for those of you who were here for our signature series just a few weeks ago, you will know why. Our second company is so good. I mean, there is really very little difference, if any, with the main company. And so after seeing them dancing this season, shoulder to shoulder with the main company, I decided that it's about time. We need to see them in the same program. However, there is nothing second company about the choreographer that is going to create this work for them, Stephanie Martinez. Stephanie has created works for the likes of Joffrey Ballet, Kansas City Ballet, Nashville Ballet, and is very excited about doing her first work for Tulsa Ballet on our young company. Let's hear from Stephanie.
I usually gravitate towards something more stylized and specific, and I do love theatrical elements in my work. At its core, it involves a very clear vision, and I've been told that it's cinematic. So I move from world to world. That is the goal for me when I go to Tulsa, is to take the viewer on a real journey so that they can identify with what they're looking at, and hopefully it will evoke emotion. I've never been to Tulsa, even though I'm originally from El Paso, Texas, but I'm based here in Chicago, Illinois. I'm a Chicago-based choreographer. So I'm really looking forward to meeting the dancers and working with them, and getting back into the studio. You know, really, I'm full of joy to actually be in person. I didn't really realize how much I took that for granted, and now physically being able to talk to somebody out of the Zoom bubble is just so appealing, and I'm sure it's going to be really satisfying.
Our fall program will fulfill another major objective of my planning notes, that of shining the spotlight on issues that are at the forefront of our conversations today. And being in Tulsa in 2021, which better way to address those issues than creating a work on the Tulsa Race Massacres of 1921. I asked Jennifer Archibald, who has already created 3 wonderful works for us, to make a piece on this topic. Jennifer is the resident choreographer of the Cincinnati Ballet and is at a particular point in her life and career that I feel she's primed to produce a great work on this difficult topic. Let's hear from Jennifer.
I'm a choreographer that creates work that doesn't lie in the world of fantasy. I want to create work that reflects what's happening in the world today and create works where the audience can relate to what's happening on stage. What happened in the Tulsa Greenwood district is significant in American history. It has a great deal to teach us on how we understand racism today. There are many layers and many views. It's a story of rage, resilience, loyalty, and spirit. Dance can be abstract and subjective, and I think adding the multimedia medium integrated through movement will bring a truth and a reality, a level of humanity to the work that you would normally not see in a full-length ballet. There are so many new things to learn about the history of Tulsa, and interviewing the community, that's going to be the spine of the project. I want the audience to walk out of the theater and feel moved. I always want my work to resonate. Many feelings will be activated in this work. For everyone on the creative team, the performers as actors, and the audience. I think it's important to approach this work as a creator and viewer with mindfulness and compassion.
Now, for this particular work, we are not going to use conventional sets. Rather than that, we are going to frame the dance with a documentary, with pictures and actually video documentary that will be created by Guy Delancey. The costumes are going to be care of Lisa Zinni. Now, here in Tulsa, we know Lisa because she designed and created the costumes for Remember Our Song by Andy Blackenbuehler. But in New York, they know Lisa as the designer of, among others, An American in Paris, Cats, Rent, and many other major Broadway shows. Opening a program that contains a work of such weight and gravitas, like one dedicated to the Tulsa Race Massacres of 1921, requires a dance diametrically opposite in feeling and texture. Contrary to what you might think, the choice wasn't difficult at all. Flight of Fancy by Macomb. This work, one that premiered in our own Studio K in 2016, will provide the perfect balance to the evening, injecting joy, optimism, and energy in the full program. So if that wasn't enough creations, world premieres for one season, the next program in our 21-22 season will be yet another world premiere, the world premiere of a brand new Nutcracker. Now, I am a little bit sorry that our present version didn't get a proper farewell party to usher him into retirement. But at the same time, I'm very excited about the upcoming production. I put together a stellar team to produce this brand new work. The 2 choreographers are our past resident choreographer, our first resident choreographer, and our second resident choreographer, Valkani Paroli and Makong. They will share the creation of this great work. For sets and costumes, I asked Tracy Grant Lord to make them for us. Now, some of you might remember Tracy from her spectacular sets and costumes of Tchaikovsky, The Man Behind the Music. The 3 of them have been working so well together that it is a joy to hear them talking about this new work. Let's hear them.
The story really just happens in Europe and following the traditional storyline, little girl and just experience this beautiful Christmas and celebrate with her family. And throughout this party, and she met many different friends and people, and she start falling asleep and then dreaming and went to a beautiful wonderland. And, all this a fantasy world.
It's for all ages, and it's magical. It's for the young at heart. Bring your children and see it through the children's eyes. And I just really want it to be entertaining. I want it to, go from generation to generation.
You're not going to be able to take it all in one viewing. I think it's going to be something that you'll need to come back and see, the next year maybe, and you'll see more, you'll get more. And if you're lucky enough to see it when you're young, and then you see it when you're a little bit older, you'll be identifying different things inside it. I really enjoyed learning more about Tulsa. Through my cello, what's really important to the people of Tulsa, and also what's really important to the company, and it's been wonderful to be able to have the opportunity to put that all together and to make it specially for Tulsa.
And now on to the next show, the first show of 2022. And guess what? It's going to be Vendetta, a Mafia story by Annabelle Lopez Ochoa. I was just talking with Bethany in our marketing department, and she reminded me that we had to postpone it 4 times. Yeah, when we had to postpone it March of 2020, we all thought for sure this pandemic will be over by June. Well, had we known what we know now. But as I promised you, the production is not going back to Montreal until it sees the US premiere here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now let's hear from Annabelle Lopez Ochoa about this wonderful work.
Right now, it still feels surreal that it is going to happen. And I think that as a society and as artists, we have to have the faith that at some point, our normal lives are going to be back. And at some point, we will be able to, have a communal experience and go to the theaters. You only see a work once there's an audience. You only feel the storytelling and the curve of the storytelling when there's an audience. And I haven't had the audience. I think I've learned that in this pandemic, that art does not exist without an audience. Yeah, it was fun to, create something with dancers on the other side of the world, but we still wanted to have that premiere. You still need the glance of an audience for it to become art. So it's the sharing experience that makes something enjoyable and that makes it art. That's what we're going to be so happy about, that we can, experience it together. It's a movie. It's a movie on point shoes. It has a Hollywood flair, and I think there's going to be so many things that people will recognize from all the movies. Hollywood is coming to Tulsa.
Thank you, Annabelle. Annabelle is considered to be the most in-demand female choreographer in the world at this particular time. She is one of the choreographers that was brave enough to create a brand new piece for us from her bedroom in Amsterdam. The piece Limoncello was fantastic, and I can't wait to do it again, this time without face masks. And now on to our next program, Swan Lake. Swan Lake is meant to address our quest to safeguard the tradition of classical ballet. And which better way than do that than presenting Swan Lake. Swan Lake first premiered in 1877 at the Bolshoi Theater in Moscow. It wasn't an instant success. In fact, we have to wait until 1895 to have a production that is somewhat more successful, still not the great success that it is today. Part of the reason that the 1895 production was more successful is that the choreography was changed from Reisinger to Marius Petipa and Lev Ivanov. The ballet eventually came to Western Europe and was even performed by the Ballet Russe of Diaghilev, if in a shortened version. We have to wait until 1934, when the piece premiered at the Sadler's-Wells Ballet in London, to define it a big success. Today, not much of the original choreography by Petipa remains. What we call original choreography is actually by Lev Ivanov, who choreographed the second act of this piece, the White Act. In our version, I choreographed the first, third and fourth act of the ballet, and I'm happy to share it with you again. We are going to close the season with a bombastic program, one that will hopefully celebrate a gradual return to normality. And what better way to start this program than with a brand new work by Andrew McNico. Andrew created a brand new piece for us this season from his living room in London. And as soon as the curtain came down, I picked up the phone and I called him and I said, Andrew, please come and do another piece for us next season. Well, I'm so happy that he will finally create something on our dancers, for our dancers, in our own studios. Let's hear from Andrew.
My first commission for Tulsa in this kind of new virtual way was quite an experience. And then to kind of be able to meet everybody in that way, you know, it's a very unique, different kind of process. And I think, you know, having the opportunity to come back in person and build on that experience. And now I know the company and I know the dancers, and, you know, to be in the space physically with them as well, I think it's going to be really interesting. There's some amazing dancers and, you know, they're all bringing their kind of unique signature to the table. So that's very much at the forefront of my mind when I'm kind of going through my library of music and developing concepts and ideas. I can now visualize with the company in mind. I'm just incredibly excited to have been invited back, and, you know, so looking forward to working with the company. Now I know them, and also visiting Tulsa in person and just, you know, being there in the flesh.
The next piece in this program is going to be Remember Our Song by Andy Blankenbuehler. Now, audiences worldwide know Andy for being a 3 times Tony Award winner, one of those 3 times for the Broadway sensation Hamilton. We know Andy because he came to Tulsa in 2019 to create a piece for Tulsa Ballet. In fact, that piece is the only piece he has ever created for a ballet company. And that ballet company is our Tulsa Ballet. Now, we recorded a short interview with him in 2019. Let's hear from him.
I discovered this idea in my World War II research for this other musical about submarine crews. And so I decided to create a ballet where a submarine crew of 7 men are in the most heightened of pressured situations, like they might die on this day because they're being hunted by another ship. And they've been in the water for months, and they've been away for months. And so their brains, their hearts, they've all been stretched to the breaking point. And I feel like there's that wonderful line when you're close to your breaking point of going so far to the extreme of where you would rather be. So if you were in prison, what would you be dreaming of? And so for these men, it breaks into this dream ballet of the women that they wish were in their arms when instead they're facing imminent death in the submarine. And so it follows this crew as they go to sea, and then it follows them into the depth of a very dangerous situation, and then the escapism of what could be on the far side of constriction.
And now the question comes, how do you close a season like next season, the first post-pandemic season, hopefully in our lifetime? There is only one work that can close such a season, Balcão do Amor by Itzik Galili. This piece is so much fun, so entertaining, slightly irreverent, and definitely engaging. We were supposed to perform it last year, and I was so disappointed when we had to move it because of the current situation. However, I'm equally happy and excited to share it with you at the end of next season. Let's hear from Itzik.
The whole story is pretty simple. The name of the piece is Balcão de Amor. And Balcão de Amor, the translation is the balcony of love. And that's related to the people who are usually every night sitting in the balconies in Cuba. Somewhere around 2011, I was sent to Cuba, and one of the nights I was walking in the streets and I heard some strange noises, and it was the punching of the domino cubes on the tables. But the whole life there was so attractive in a sense, and something just, it was like little drops that came into my spirit, and slowly I thought, I need to do something about this experience. And that was the experience that I had while walking in the street and hearing the domino sounds, because they had a beautiful tribal family gathering, and it moves me.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, our 2021-2022 season. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something culturally stimulating. A little mice, a little soldier, a sugar plum fairy, lots of humor and some drama. I hope to see all of you at the PAC for a bombastic season, one that we'll never forget.
Wow. Thank you, Marcello. Next season looks amazing. And it's also the 65th anniversary season for Tulsa Ballet. So those of you watching tonight, if you haven't yet renewed your subscription for next year, please do it now. Go online, tulsaballet.org/subscribe. And when you do, you will receive the free bottle of our limited edition Reveal wine. You can pick it up at our drive-through wine pickup event on Tuesday evening. You can also call the box office. They're standing by, 918-749-6006. And I mentioned earlier that everyone who RSVP'd tonight has been automatically entered into a drawing. So right now I'm going to ask Marcello if he would come on up here and help me draw the winners of our prizes this evening. First up, we've got a $50 gift card from the Polo Grill restaurant in Tulsa at Utica Square, courtesy of Robert Merrifield and the Polo Grill. Marcello, would you like to do the honors?
And I love the Polo Grill. I'm going to put my glasses on.
Right. Hey, I think everybody loves the Polo Grill. They've been very supportive of Tulsa Ballet as well, so thanks again to the Polo Grill. And the lucky winner going to dinner at the Polo Grill with the $50 gift card.
I know this name, and I know that she lives in Trieste, Italy, so she won't be able to come. Her name is Elisabetta Ceron. She lives in Italy.
All right, well, let's draw another one from someone who we think could make it to the Polo Grill.
Well, I hope that Miss Melissa Goforth will be able to go.
Wonderful. Melissa Goforth, congratulations. We'll contact you and let you know how to claim your prize. Now, next up, we've got this very nice bottle of wine. Now, Marcello, you know a lot more about wine than I do. What do you think about this bottle?
Well, this is a wonderful Zinfandel. It's a Benovia. It comes from Sonoma County, and it does pack a punch.
All right, very
so
good.
Drink it carefully.
All right, so while Marcello draws, I'm going to remind you once again, call the box office, 918-749-6006. Go online, claim your Reveal wine for free when you renew tonight before midnight.
And I'm going to turn it a couple of times.
All right.
And the wine goes to Miss Marla Mansfield.
Marla Mansfield, congratulations on the wine. Okay, now our next prize is really special because this is the opportunity to see the final dress rehearsal of the brand new version of the Nutcracker that's having its world premiere here. Marcello, tell us about that and tell us about how excited we are for this new production of the Nutcracker.
Well, first of all, I think this item is going to be very exciting because whoever wins it is going to be among the first people with me, with our staff, to see the brand new Nutcracker that will premiere in December. And I mean, expect moving sceneries and projections, film. So it's going to be a very, very exciting evening. And now let's see who wins it.
This is certainly an experience you cannot buy. One more push, renew tonight before midnight, and come get your bottle of Reveal wine next week. The lucky winner of the VIP Nutcracker experience.
And I'm also going to mention that at the final dress rehearsal, there are still things that are going to be slightly wrong. So again, you will be the first person to see it. Well, guess who won it? Our friend David Wolf.
David Wolf.
David,
#1 volunteer for Tulsa Ballet. Couldn't have gone to a better man. We look forward to seeing you at the final dress rehearsal of the Nutcracker. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in tonight and for supporting Tulsa Ballet as we launch into our 65th anniversary season. I hear we're pushing 100 subscriptions already for tonight, so help us put us over the edge. tulsaballet.org/subscribe. Marcello, thanks again for putting together a phenomenal season next year and for all that you do for this company. I love it personally. I know everybody out there is a big fan of Tulsa Ballet as well.
Thank you. And now the important thing is that all of you out there love it too. How are you going to know if you are going to love it? The only way to do it is to subscribe tonight. Thank you and good night.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
We can't wait to see you. See you.